Hey everyone, today we'll take a look at my old planted tank and bust few myths regarding planted tank. This was my 40-gallon planted tank. Planted aquarium or aquascaping hobby is as costly as maintaining a marine reef tank. I do understand where this myth has started. Most of the content creators in YouTube who showcase their planted aquariums or aquascapes most likely use top of the line ADA ribless tank with expensive top of the line ADA solar RGB lights, costly ADA fertilizer and ADA canister filtration. They flex their gears on YouTube and people get the notion that one can't have a planted tank unless you purchase those costly gears. The truth is quite opposite. This 40-gallon planted tank I maintained using a cheap Chinese canister filter and cheap LED lights. Costly equipment will no doubt give you an edge on aquascaping, but the same can be achieved using low-cost alternatives as well. Second myth is that a planted tank is complex and very hard to maintain. With my 10 years of experience, I can tell you that it is not true. If you follow the basic rules of maintaining a planted tank, you should be able to succeed easily. The main key component here is patience. You will come across various algae issues and other issues, but with consistent maintenance and patience, you will be able to overcome all of them. Third myth is you need to be creative. Even though creativity will definitely be useful for aquascape, but it's not a mandatory skill set to start an aquascape. Take a look at my planted tank. I just placed all the plants in groups. That's all you need to do to start your first aquascape. Any planted tank which is full of healthy plants will look good. So if anyone tells you that you can aquascape only if you have creativity, that person is either lying or misleading you. Fourth myth is CO2 is harmful for your fishes. Again, this is absolutely false. Until and unless one is injecting too much CO2 and suffocating his fish, CO2 is beneficial for your plants and to some extent for your fishes as well. If you have fish which prefer soft water, then CO2 injection will be beneficial as CO2 will bring down the pH of the water. But while injecting CO2, one needs to be very careful. You must not overdose CO2. I'll suggest starting with 1 bubble per second and then gradually increase CO2 till you reach saturation. Please note, if you are using medium to low light, then you may not need 20 ppm CO2 in your planted tank. Plants are opportunistic and they will try to consume any CO2 available in water. High levels of CO2 are always problematic. There is a misconception in hobby that your CO2 level must be 20 ppm for optimum plants growth. This is absolutely not true. If you are running very bright light, then only you need 20 ppm CO2 to compensate for plant's need. Otherwise, Medium to low level of CO2 injection will provide benefit to your plant's growth as well. Now one thing you must understand, that is your CO2 level should not fluctuate. What I am trying to say is, one time you are injecting CO2 at very high level and then in another hour you are injecting CO2 at very low level. If you make these kind of fluctuations, then black brush algae will invade your aquarium. So as long as you have a steady flow of CO2, you should be fine. It doesn't need to be 20 parts per million. The fifth myth is planted tanks are seasonal and you have to restart your tank after 8 to 9 months. This myth is very popular in India and Bangladesh, where during summer water temperature reaches above 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Many sensitive plants will melt in these high temperatures. Thus, this myth has started that planted tanks are seasonal. This is again false. If you select plants which grow well in spite of high water temperature, then you should not face this plant melting issue. During summer, with increase of water temperature, your plant's metabolism increases as well. Hence, to compensate for this increased metabolism, you need to provide more CO2 fertilizer as well. Also, frequent water changes is also required to get rid of extra organics, which you will see only in summer. Use of a fan above water surface will also minimize your water temperature. So it basically comes down to your husbandry. If you take proper care during summer, then your planted tank will do fine and you don't have to restart your planted tank after summer. I suggest open top tanks, 8 to 10 CPU fans on top of planted tank surface 24/7, which will decrease your water temperature at least 2-3 degrees. So it basically comes down to your husbandry. If you take proper care during summer, then your planted tank will do fine and you don't have to restart your planted tank after summer. I suggest open top tanks, 8 to 10 CPU fans on top of planted tank surface, CO2 injection, estimative index fertilizer dosing, weekly thrice water change during summer to cope up with the rise in water temperature. I hope you like this video. If yes, then please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to this channel for similar content in future. I'll see you in next video. Till then, take care. Goodbye.